Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Are considered to be for routine and can be enacted in one motion.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Any comments from the public?
Let me make one comment. Item 303 is $1,282,000 out of Measure D funds, and just thought we'd let you know that's a self-imposed tax on gravel.
We also have one request to speak card for item 281.
Which number again?
281.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Good morning.
Auditor Control. Good morning. No, the item 281, just have a couple comments. It's a request to establish a welfare revolving cash fund in the amount of $500 for the expenses that are listed on the item. One of the things, I understand the need for a revolving cash fund or a petty cash fund. I think there's only one instance where it's at the level that's being requested here, and that's in the health department, where they do a lot of over-the-counter transactions. It serves more as like a cash register type fund. And most of the expenditures that are enumerated in the item can be handled with a little bit of planning through the normal accounts payable process, normal check request process that we have. So I would. I don't have a problem with the approval of a revolving cash fund. I think that in a lower amount might be more appropriate. The petty cash funds are designed to handle items that are minimal and infrequent in nature, and it's not for major purchases or events that should normally go through the accounts payable process. So my only request is that an amount reduction. I think $100 is what I would be comfortable with, but I'll leave it to the board's discretion.
So just a quick comment, once upon a time, $100 was a lot of money.
True.
Today, $500 to me is not a great deal of funds. I would support that we probably run with this. If you see in the future that it is an issue and you can actually come back and say, wait a minute, but here's some of the problems that have resulted as a result of this, then I would really appreciate your input. If this is defective and needs to be modified, I guess that would be my comment to the full board.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Jim?
You guys have any questions in relation to Mr. Everly's comments?
Do you have a thought on if 100, 200, or 300 would also be suitable?
100 probably would not. Normally what these funds are used for is for emergency situations. So if a minor comes in, they have no clothes, things of that nature, and we have to go purchase clothes real quickly for them. Maybe a parent needs food when the minor is returned back home, things of that nature. So having that cash quickly available to us is a good resource.
Would 200 be appropriate?
Well, we could do the old, I'll just meet in the middle and go 250.
All right. Well, I will move to amend that to 250 then.
Thank you.
I'll second.
I think that.
So would you like to pull this from the?
I guess we should. We do need to pull it.
Yeah,
we're going to make a separate motion.
If you're going to have a different, so we'll move this item number 281 out of the consent, and we'll bring that up right away. Other than item 281, do I hear a motion to support the consent agenda?
Yes.
And a second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now let's take a look at 281.
I move that we amend the amount to 250.
I'll second.
Okay,
Through the chair, I think that the money goes through probation. They have control over the funds, and in certain cases, when you get kids that have no clothes, 500 is not really a large amount, and I think it's up to us to trust the probation to that amount of money. And I would like to see it stay where it's at.
any other comments?
What was the source of funds?
The source? I'm gonna.
That comes from.
I'm gonna say it's probably from the general fund. Someone's calling. Is it really important?
That's the accountant telling us where it's coming. through the chair.
Well, I was a little. I just wanted to clear up the source of funds. It's not a big deal, but does that come from the juveniles using different devices and being charged for that?
It comes through our phone program.
Right.
That's the money. So it's not necessarily general funds. It comes directly from the funds that we generate through our phone system.
Okay.
So through the chair, I just wanted to say I heard from Jim Marvel that 250 he anticipates would be sufficient, but certainly if the board moves forward with 250 and it's not sufficient, I'm fully supportive of returning to the board and asking us for 500.
Chair. I think we should trust Mr. Arnold with $500. I think it's micromanaging on our part, and you never know what happens in the middle of the night when you have kids that they bring in. So, Jim, I trust you.
Thank you, Andy.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. I'm expecting any other public comment. Someone would make a entrance to the front. No, I don't see any. How about online? Do we have any Zoom comments?
Through the chair, we have no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, so let's do a roll call vote on the motion that was made.
This is the motion for.
This is the motion for 250.
No.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Vasquez is no. Blazer's yes. Seth is yes.
Bradford is yes.
Supervisor Fletcher?
No. So that is 3, I believe, to keep it at 250. So you now have 250.
What happens if you have 2 kids and we don't have a quorum?
They call Seth and Gary in the middle of the night.
So just so we're clear, we are all in favor of spending whatever the correct amount is for the appropriate time. The issue for Mr. Eberle is that he's supposed to be tracking and planning. And so from an accountant perspective, I can understand that he wants to go through a certain process. So the money's going to get spent, they're going to get taken care of, everything's going to be fine. It's just a matter of jumping through hoops, dotting I's, and filling out paperwork.
I think the motion is passed, so we will move on. Thank you. Public communication.
Any person may speak about any subject of concern provided it is within the jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors and is not already on today's agenda. The total amount of time allotted for receiving such public communication shall be limited to a total of 15 minutes, and each individual or group will be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Prior to this time, speakers are requested to fill out a request to speak card and submit it to the clerk of the Board of Supervisors. If you are participating via Zoom and wish to comment, please use the raise hand function or *9 if participating on a phone. Through the chair, we have 3 cards, and at this time, no hands raised on Zoom. The first one is Karen Liggett.
Good morning, Karen Liggett from Yuba County, Marysville. I have brought to the board before about, I found out some information about the fellowship cult in Oregon House, and I looked up their information. I found on there one of our supervisors' wives' names on there. I'm going to present it today. It's Kathy Fletcher. She is one of the fellowship friends. And so I guess Randy must be as well, because he's married to her. So I am presenting these pictures that I found.
Through the chair, point of order. What is this? This county council, is this?
It's legal because I'm a citizen. I'm letting the public know because he's a supervisor. The public needs to know. This is a 2018 picture that I'm presenting to you guys, well, to Randy, as a gift for leaving Yuba County as being corrupt and helping the fellowship. Robert Burton, that runs the fellowship, was at one of these events. I have his picture in this event. So Randy, this is your gift from Yuba County for designating your office. And this is to give them so that you guys can stop harassing the North Yuba Water Board on water. They have a container now.
One second. Yeah, you can keep that. You can take that with you. Take that with you, please. Take that with you. Thank you.
Yes.
Next, we have Adam Garza.
Would the board like me to respond to Supervisor Vasquez's concern?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Through the chair, a citizen can come forward and make statements criticizing, questioning any public official or employee, so long as it's related to county business. To the extent that the fellowship is involved with any county programs, be it a food hub or anything like that that we've heard in the past, to the extent they'd come before the board, ask for any funds, do anything like that, it would be appropriate for someone to comment upon that. So theoretically, could that be within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board? Theoretically, yes, it could be. Did what was said amount to a legal conflict of interest? There would have to be further facts before anyone could determine that, but that is for another day.
So just for a personal, I think the public has an opportunity and the right to speak 3 minutes, which is with some limitations. Their opinion is their opinion. And in most cases, their opinion, when they're so far outlandish, is pretty clear to the public. And I'm not opposed to an opinion. Doesn't always have to be backed up with any knowledge, any reality. It's just an opinion. So you take the source of the information and that's where you leave it.
Preconceived opinions uncontaminated by practical experience and common sense.
There you go. Okay. Second person, please.
Second, we have Adam Garza.
The name again, I'm sorry.
Mr. Adam Garza.
Okay.
Oh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here this morning on behalf of the senior citizens that we used to have, the Citizens Yuba County Senior Citizens Center. And the center was closed December of 2017 because we lost the building. I've been inquired to see if the county had a building suitable that we could get started again and maybe open up the center again. It's a very, very important facility for the seniors, put them together and socialize and have a bingo from time to time. And also the center was providing them a very costly meal, just with enough money to provide the meal for the next day. We need your help. We've been trying to find a permanent facility, preferably within the area of Marysville, which is centered to most of the communities. And we asked to see what the board can do for us. Yuba County can do for us. Maybe they have a facility, maybe they have a lot big enough. So if subject to us being able to get the donations to build a building, or maybe you have a building already. So this is where we're at. If you have any questions now, I would like to hear from the board, see what they think about it.
So one of the recommendations I might tell you is make contact with the Marysville supervisor and have a discussion one-on-one and see if you can start that motion in that direction.
Okay.
So I've got a brief comment. I think there has been attempts in the past. Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong. And I think that what they ran into is trying to find a lead person or group that they could work with. And Jennifer knows more about that than I do.
There have been some previous attempts, and actually CAO Mallon and I had the discussion in the last couple of weeks and discussed having a meeting here within, I think, in the next couple of weeks, selecting a few of our county folks, and then also working with community members to determine what the needs are and possible steps moving forward. So I think this has been brought to our attention, and we're going to be looking at things that we could do moving forward.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Through the chair, have you approached the VFW possibly?
The VFW?
Yes. Because they have a kitchen and they're not.
No, we haven't. I checked with the city to see if they had a facility or a building or a lot, that maybe we could work around it. The center really needs parking area, which is one of the biggest problems, to find an area that has sufficient parking area, and also in an area that the senior citizens can feel comfortable and safe. This is a problem.
So let me clarify here. The point of public comment is really for public comment, not necessarily debate and solving a problem. It's pretty much public comment. So I think I'll revert back to the original discussion. If you'll meet with one of the county supervisors you'd like to work with, let's see how we can handle it. And this is only public comment. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next.
Next, we have Mr. Charles Sharp.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Charles Sharp, Oregon House. I think I sent some things into the clerk regarding this. This is my little line for the foothills. And it says, can you read it? Everybody see it? It says, hello, I'm assigned for Signs for the Foothills. We need some funding, please. Okay, got it? The foothills need some proper signs so the county looks good, people can find their way to local businesses, and so Supervisor Furr will not feel he might get lost if he comes to visit the foothills. We also need...
Almost happened on Friday. My MapQuest turns off. I'm in Oregon House. I don't know where I'm going to end up.
Exactly.
Almost turned left and went to Frenchtown Inn.
Exactly.
What would happen?
Precisely. We need the county to pay attention a little bit to our sign situation. So that's my little comment on that. We also need our water. I believe there will be more stories in the appeal. The LA Times is interested in doing a story on why the water isn't going to the small farmers that are entitled to it. CNN has also expressed an interest in our little water district along the same lines of who is diverting the water from the local farmers and where is it going. We have the facts. We shall not disappoint. Some think we are just a bunch of country bumpkins that would not care about such water diversions. Not so. They are wrong. They were wrong, as the voters of the 5th District have overwhelmingly shown. The story we want to write is how the Yuba Water Agency and the county supervisors have worked together to restore the water that is being withheld by the water district. That is, if the water is flowing. If not, then it would be an entirely different story. Thank you for your time. I shall now retreat to the foothills and the land of the country bumpkins.
Any other comments?
Through the chair, we have one hand raised on Zoom, Katie Dobson.
Hi, good morning. I'm actually here to speak on the next item, number 31.
Very good. So if you'll wait till that item, that will work. Any other public comment?
There are no more cards.
Seeing none. Moving on to county departments, item 277, 2022, adopt resolution adopting certain provisions of the education code to permit the Wheatland Union High School District to establish a school facility improvement district with its boundaries.
Yes, good morning, Chair, members of the board, Kevin Mallon, County Administrator. So the item before you today is at the request of Wheatland's High School District. So the high school district, as outlined in the staff report, wants to pursue two different bond measures in November for two distinct areas within their district. And in order to do that under the education code, they need permission from the Yuba County Board of Supervisors to basically have a ballot measure that would be specific to a kind of a sub area of their district. So the bond measure, which I understand would be one would focus on trying to find funding to build a high school in Plumas Lake, which is very much needed. And then the other and so it would be specific to voters in the Plumas Lake area. And then the other bond measure would be for improvements at the existing high school in Wheatland. And that would be focused in the Wheatland area or around the city of Wheatland. So this is surprisingly, we have not, when I conferred with county council on this, something that we haven't had happen up to this point, but in order for a school district to move forward, we need to have permission from the Board of Supervisors through a resolution. And then also there's an amendment or an addendum in your packet. There was a little extra whereas in the resolution that was in the board's original agenda. And so county council has updated the resolution and provided you all copies of it. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions from the board?
Through the chair, softball question. The people who are in that specific district are the ones that are going to be assessed via the bond, and they're not going to pass something that the people on the other side are going to then be on the hook for.
That is correct.
Through the chair, they already own the ground that they want to build the high school. Is that true?
Plumas Lake, that is correct.
Okay, I thought so. Thanks.
Questions from the public?
Through the chair, no question, but just a comment. I think this is a great idea. I think it's important that those who benefit from a particular project are the ones that pay for that project. And I think this is a way to help accomplish that in the South County, that the appropriate residents pay for the appropriate improvements or construction associated with where their students would be attending. So
I take that as a motion.
I believe, sure, I'll make a motion, but I know we do have someone who wants to speak, so.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Katie Dobson. I am bond counsel to the district, and I actually have nothing to add. That was a really great summary. So thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions, but no further information.
I think it's pretty clear. So I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you. Council?
Thank you.
I was just wondering if we asked for public comment.
It did.
Okay.
Thank you. Moving on, item 251, Community Development Services, adopt resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into a right-of-way access and use agreement for development of a fiber optic network with Sci-Fi Networks in Yuba County. This is the exciting one for today. Not that exciting. This one, really exciting.
Question to our present.
I certainly do. Thank you so much, Vice Chair. Through the chair, is the presentation screen shared to the public?
I believe so.
Excellent. Well, I would like to say good morning, Chair Fletcher and fellow board members. For anyone in the audience that doesn't know me, my name is Ian Scott. I'm the broadband project manager for Yuba County. I'd like to start by once again thanking you all for making broadband a priority. The reason I'm here today is to provide a presentation on a proposal by Sci-Fi Networks to construct a privately funded broadband network. In late 2021, staff was approached by Sci-Fi Networks regarding an offer to build a fiber optic network at no cost to the county. Sci-Fi is to privately fund, design, construct, and maintain a privately funded open access network with their private capital and investment. The network would include county facilities, private residences and businesses, and institutions, both public and private, within the project area, providing up to 10 gigabit residential broadband and up to 100 gigabit business connectivity. This agreement, if approved, would result in all internet service providers, including those currently operating within the county, having the opportunity to compete on Sci-Fi's network. Sci-Fi has entered similar agreements with local jurisdictions, including the city of Yuba City and the city of Marysville. Sci-Fi has also partnered with other California cities, including Folsom, Rancho Cordova. In fact, staff actually reviewed a Sci-Fi installation in progress in Rancho Cordova yesterday, and Pittsburgh, California, and there are quite a few others. An agreement between Sci-Fi and Yuba City would make Yuba County, between Sci-Fi and Yuba County would make Yuba County the first county jurisdiction in Sci-Fi's network. This proposed development agreement with Sci-Fi would result in connectivity to all residences and businesses within the communities of Linda, Olivehurst, Plumas Lake, and Sci-Fi has also agreed to expand into Arboga. This agreement grants Sci-Fi non-exclusive right-of-way access and allows them to install fiber optics in the county's public right-of-way. The Sci-Fi agreement grants full access to the public right-of-way to install cables via microtrenching technology. This is a visual demonstration of the initial project area listed on slide 4 with expansion to Arboga to follow. On a monthly basis, Sci-Fi will reimburse the county for actual fees and costs incurred, including labor costs of contracted services to perform plan check, permit review, and inspection services, not to exceed $100,000 per year. The initial term is 30 years with 2 15-year term extensions available. Construction hours are limited to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Mondays to Fridays, except on state and federal holidays, with the consideration that no weekend or holiday work will be allowed to minimize public disruption. Sci-Fi will allow the county to use the system for government internal data communication, subject to a separate agreement. So if this agreement is approved, there will be other subsequent agreements to follow. The network is to be fully built out within 5 years of the execution date of the agreement. As such, staff's recommendation to the board is to adopt the resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into a right-of-way access and use agreement for the deployment of a fiber optic network with Sci-Fi Networks. I'm here to answer any questions that your board may have.
Questions from the board?
A few. Is anything? So you mentioned a couple of different cities. Has any of these projects been completed, and they're not just in the process as the one you described, but completely done?
Certainly, the city of Fullerton is the closest. They are near the end of that process. My understanding is that they are still building out there.
Okay, so no projects have been completed.
Not today, sir.
Okay, this is not a monopoly because anybody else could come along and do the same thing. So this is not a, in theory, monopoly, correct?
Precisely.
But is it practical monopoly in that once we give in right-of-way installation to them, is it effectively going to preclude or push out other possible competitors, or no, we're going to have this as an open door? Anybody who wants to micro trench and put down wire right-of-way access, it's going to be pretty much available for.
This project is being considered as the first micro-trenching precedent here at the county, allowing staff to be able to use this opportunity to learn from it. That being said, there's nothing here precluding any other future deployment. Staff will be using this opportunity to review the technology and with the consideration that we would be able to evaluate future projects with the internal capacity that we have gained from this project.
All right. So the other places that are almost complete, Fullerton, for example, do they have other people doing it, or no, it's just Sci-Fi?
I'm not aware of any other jurisdiction that has more than one micro-trenching company.
And then as far as this micro-trenching company and what it's creating with our fiber network, the competitors in that same field, when you talk to them about pros and cons, is there any knowledge or information there that we should be aware of?
Certainly. So incumbent ISPs could have the perception that companies such as Sci-Fi are overbuilding. That is certainly one counter argument, and the counter to the counter argument there is that companies such as Sci-Fi enable opening competition on price, service reliability, and ensuring that at the end of the day, the benefits accrue unto the public for greater competition.
And so UVerse, Comcast, they're still going to be there as available as competitors. Sci-Fi is just adding a new player to the marketplace.
Precisely, and those incumbent firms would also be able to work with Sci-Fi to enter onto Sci-Fi's network as well if they so chose.
Great. And then the term of years that you were talking about, that's just for the right-of-way access for them to be installing the fiber optic cable?
The term of the agreement is for Sci-Fi to remain within the right-of-way.
Okay. Great. And so at the end of that term, what would happen if we didn't continue to renew them? They would take their wire away?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other comment?
Yeah, just a quick comment. Thank you, Ian, and thank you to Sci-Fi Networks and to any other staff that's been working on this. I think it's an outstanding project for our community. I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to consider this today. Not only will it provide increased speeds for current residents that may have access to broadband in those areas, it in the future will serve residents in Arboga that don't have access to high speed. And it will create opportunities for competition and for additional companies to enter the market using the Sci-Fi cable, the fiber plant. So that's super exciting to have multiple options as a consumer and increased speed capability and increased availability in that area of the county. So super excited.
So in a comment, Ian, thank you very much for working on this project. You know, your role in this has really accomplished more in the last 6 months, 8 months than we've been able to do in the last 5 years. So be very proud to the fact that you've taken your energy, focused on the constituents throughout Yuba County. I couldn't be more pleased. However, I'd love to see it in the foothills, and we'll get there. And I know you're focused on all of Yuba County. This is kind of the low-hanging fruit. And I think it's tremendous for Yuba County, the benefits that will come out of this. Great education. Again, without you doing this, I don't believe it would have happened. So take pride in that. You're on track. You're doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Through the chair. I'm trying to figure out the benefits for the constituents. So the fiber optic would say run down the road outside the residence. So how does it get from there to the resident? Does it cost them anything, or what's the benefit for them?
My understanding is that there's no cost to the residents. Once the system has been deployed, it's not dissimilar to any current ISP. The system would connect to the endpoint residence from where it is installed within the right of way. Once there is a request to activate service on the Sci-Fi network.
Okay. On the reimbursable expenses, does that include anything that Public Works might run into where the fiber optic is in the way of one of their projects? And
yes, there is actually a fund listed in the agreement, which the county can use for costs incidental as encountered in those projects.
So in the area you're working in, it's just basically giving the residents another option.
Correct, sir.
It's not necessarily bringing Wi-Fi to people that just have no choices. I mean, it's just faster. What? They're going to pay for it. Yes.
Through the chair, as an example, though, it brings more choices, or to people who don't have many choices. Even myself, who has fairly good options compared to some residents in the county. If I want gig speed, I have one option. It's Comcast. AT&T doesn't provide that level of service to my house. And so really I have a single option. And so there's no competition there. This will provide one or more additional options to my residents. In addition to increased speed.
You're talking to the wrong guy about speed.
Fast. It's really fast.
Through the chair, may I have the opportunity to continue to address? So There is no limit. There's no technical limit to the amount of firms that could utilize Sci-Fi's network to compete in that space. So there could be as few as one or two, or as many as anything upward of that for firms that could then compete on the Sci-Fi network.
Okay, thanks.
Do I hear a motion from the board?
Move to approve.
I second.
There was a bit of an overlap there. Who? We have a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I think
Whoop.
Mr. Sharp had a comment maybe.
Public comment, certainly.
No, it doesn't go to the foothills, Charles.
I want to commend, am I on? Yes, thank you, Charles Sharp. I want to commend the planning department of Yuba County for having this full-time person working on broadband for the county. That's extraordinary, and he's coming through and showing that it's a good investment in this having this person do that. I also say this is a good development for the valley areas. Yes, there's still the Yuba foothills, and they are kind of lacking up there. So that's next effort, I hope. Thank you very much.
Back to the board. We have a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you all very much.
Item number 298, 2022, Community Development, consider rejecting all bids and postponing the 2022 CSA resurfacing project due to the potential broadband project conflicts.
Morning to the chair of the board, Craig Herbert, construction manager. On April 12th, 2022, the Board of Supervisors approved the advertisement for bids for the resurfacing project in County Service Area 52. Work consists of crack sealing, slurry sealing, striping of approximately 17.9 miles of roads within the CSA. 4 bids were received and opened on May 4th. During the bidding and bid evaluation process, Public Works gained knowledge of the significant broadband micro-trenching project that was being presented to the county. So today, the Public Works is recommending rejection of all bids and postponement of the project due to potential broadband conflicts and damage to the completed resurfacing project. This recommendation is made upon contingent of the Sci-Fi Networks broadband contract that was just presented to you folks. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions?
Through the chair. This applies common sense and logic to something very scarce in our government process, and we'd like to thank you for it.
Thank you.
What's the geographical area that this covers, the CSA?
Mainly Edgewater.
Edgewater?
Yes, sir.
And so this process for the broadband could be up to 5 years. Do we have like a timeline of, are they going to target Edgewater first and then you guys are going to follow up, or?
I'll work with Ian and those folks on it, but that would be our preference to have that area done first, and then we could follow up with the resurfacing project.
Comments from the public? Seeing no comments, back to the board.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you. Ordinance and public hearings.
If you challenge in court the action or decision of the Yuba County Board of Supervisors regarding a zoning, planning, land use, or environmental protection matter made at any hearing described in this notice, you may be limited to raising only these issues you or someone else raised at such hearing or in written correspondence delivered to the Yuba County Board of Supervisors at or prior to such hearing. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual or group.
Okay, we'll look at item numbers 269, 2022, community development, public hearing. Adopt a resolution approving fiscal year 2022-23 budget for Gled Hill Landscape and Lighting District.
Good morning, Board Chair and fellow supervisors. Sam Bunton, Assistant Director, Public Works. So this is an annual item we do for the Gled Hill Landscaping and Lighting District. This is the third and final step of the process. So on April 12th, we came before the board to approve a resolution adopting the engineer's report. And on May 10th, we followed up with a public hearing to approve a resolution confirming the assessments within the Glen Hill Landscaping and Lighting District. The assessment shown in the engineer's report provides revenues needed to operate the district for the fiscal year 22-23. And there's been no change in the assessment rate from last year's rate. And these funds are used to maintain landscaping, repair recreational equipment, and improve existing irrigation, as well as installing new irrigation and landscaping and any other work needed to operate the district. So today, we recommend to the Board of Supervisors to adopt the attached resolution adopting the budget for the Glen Hill Landscaping and Lighting District.
Very good. I'll open the public hearing. Board, questions? Public, questions from the public. I will close the public hearing. Back to the board. Someone went out the wrong door. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Supervisor Fuhr, I think, was the second.
Very good. I have a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
It's under ordinance, so it'd be a roll call vote. I apologize.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor Blazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Fuhr?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford?
Yes.
Supervisor Fletcher?
Yes. Item number 270-2022, hold a public hearing, adopt resolution approving the fiscal year 2022-23 budget for Linda Lighting District.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't have deja vu from the last one. This is very similar, a little bit easier for me to say. Glen Hill is kind of a tongue twister for me. But so this one is another annual item for the Linda Lighting District. This is a two-step process instead of a three-step process. So a little background on the item. The Linda Street Lighting Maintenance District was formed in 1967 pursuant to the Improvement Act of 1911. And these annual assessments are imposed upon each parcel of real property within the district on the basis of the estimated benefit to the parcel and a cumulative amount sufficient to cover the annual expenses of maintenance and operations of an electrical street lighting system owned, maintained, and operated by PG&E. So Street and Highways Code requires lighting maintenance assessments to be levied pursuant to government code, and this government code authorizes the Board of Supervisors to annually determine the cost of the service, which is financed by the assessment, and by ordinance or resolution determine and impose this assessment. So on May 10th last month, the Board of Supervisors held a public hearing and adopted a resolution determining and imposing assessments within the Linda Street and Lighting Maintenance District. And so today we come before the Board of Supervisors to hold a public hearing and adopt the attached resolution adopting the budget for Linda Street Lighting Maintenance District. Any questions from the board?
Okay, I will open the public hearing. Board, questions? Questions from the public? Seeing no comments, questions, I'll close the public hearing. Back to the board.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor Blazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Fuhr?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford?
Yes.
Supervisor Fletcher?
Yes. Thank you. Item number 271-2022, public hearing. Approve the county service area summary for fiscal year 2022-23.
Sam Bunton, Assistant Director of Public Works. So every year the county service assessment summary is brought before the Board of Supervisors to adopt with the budget. And these assessments for each CSA vary depending on new parcels, so like parcel maps, track maps, or lot line adjustments, structures, and improvements to like vacant land, or with the Consumer Price Index, or known as CPI. The total amount revenue for all the CSAs combined is estimated to be approximately $3.8 million, or $3,780,269.56 to be exact for the fiscal year 22-23. And so these assessments provide revenue needed for services within each county service area. And so today we recommend to the Board of Supervisors to hold a public hearing and approve the attached county service area assessment summary.
I'll open the public public hearing. Questions from the board? Seeing none, questions from the public? No questions. Close the public hearing. Back to the board.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor Blazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Fuhrer?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford?
Yes.
Supervisor Fletcher?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move to we'll leave the correspondence as written and the board and staff member reports. Andy.
Well, the election department has decided that there are two important people missing, so I'm still sitting on the edge of the chair. But other than that, nothing really changed. I'll leave it at that.
Very good. Moving down the line.
I just have a suggestion for a placement on the next agenda. If somebody, maybe a staff person, could refresh our memories on all the rules for fireworks, since this will be that would be the last meeting before 4th of July. So the penalties, the uses, the suggestions, anything related to the fireworks.
Good idea.
Very good. The board agree with that?
Mr. Chair, it should be by motion to place that item on the next agenda.
So if you will place that as a motion to place
I would
that
like
on the
to
agenda.
make a motion that on the next agenda, that we have an update on all the rules related to 4th of July fireworks.
Second that motion.
I have a first and a second.
Through the chair, just for clarity, the motion is just a presentation of what the current state is. Is that correct?
Presentation.
Okay.
Would you like a roll call or
Don't need a roll call vote.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What would we do without county council? Seth, comments?
So busy day today. This morning, I already had 2 meetings, one talking about housing developments through our nonprofits, another with a constituent worried about developments that are occurring without proper supervision. We have this afternoon a Trilla meeting that we're going to celebrate 200-year levies, so super exciting. Tomorrow, we have the community task force for Olivehurst meeting at our new grocery store at 3:30 if anyone would like to attend. So also very happy about all of those developments. Congratulations to our prospective winners of last Tuesday's competition. It's a hard fought race when you are opposed, and there's a lot of effort involved. So you have worked hard to get a job.
Nothing this meeting to add.
More than a job, it's an adventure.
Our CAO?
Yes, and I also noticed our treasurer tax collector, looks like he has his hand up on there. So I'm not sure if he wanted to comment under board staff member reports.
That's just the mouse.
That's okay. So is that just the mouse? Yeah.
I think he's waving.
Waving at us?
Yeah,
yes.
I think that's it.
He's literally 50 feet away, so I think he can just walk in. But so regardless, I did want to, under public comment, follow up. Jennifer Vasquez mentioned that her and I have been in discussions. We've had some, recent outreach from the seniors. I do want to make sure people don't forget that we have a 20,000 square foot building at 303 C Street. It's got a lot of great space for meeting. It has books to read. It has excellent Wi-Fi. It has computers. It has a meeting room, and it's going to have a major renovation over this next year.
Does it have a name?
Does it have a name? The library, the Yuba County Library. So anyway, so we have space available for groups to come and meet, and that may be a starting point to build upon, for something more permanent. But that's there and available to our public. The fireworks item, this will actually be an excellent opportunity. Another new staff member to the county, and it's a new position. Like we have the broadband project manager, we also have a fire prevention officer, which is a new position for the county. And so this will be an excellent opportunity for that fire prevention officer to come in and present to the board on kind of our state of fire prevention related to 4th of July and what's on the books. And I believe that's all I have for today.
Very good. Council.
Nothing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So a couple of quick items. As everyone will remember, we are entering into the depths of fire season. Over the weekend, we've had several fires in the foothills. And if I recall, 2017 started off very similar, and one of the fires was real close to Brandy Way. And as a result of a few landowners that had not maintained their property, left it in a state of fire unreadiness, we ended up with a fire, and the same thing happened this year. I pray that we are not entering the same scenario as 2017, which some of us do remember, and between the loss of life and property. So please do all you can with your property and make sure that it's ready, fire safe for this coming fire season. I'd like to close on behalf of Josh Hendrickson, who was a longtime resident of the Browns Valley area. From the clerk's office, any comments?
None, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, from here we will move into closed session. We have what appears to be 4 different closed session items, and we'll report out at the end of that.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.